Hello everyone, so in this video we're going to figure out how to cut this material, and it will be a custom setting. So this is what we're gonna cut. It's a 4-letter, but this side is like a felt material, and this side is the leather like material. And I actually got this from this one. It's a cushion that going to be repurposed into something else, since we're not using this anymore. So instead of throwing it in the trash, I'm gonna use this and to create something out of it. Okay, so we're gonna go to a closer look on this. So this is a close-up look of the material that we're gonna cut. Again, there's like two different material glued together. One side is a felt, one side is like a vinyl, leather like. This is plastic, I think. So the thickness is, I would say, just slightly over 1 millimeter. That's because the felt is fluffy. So it's difficult to see too, since this is black. So the contrast with the ruler is not that good. Okay, we're gonna go to the design space screen now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is that I'll cut a 1-inch strip to be a test material, and I'm just gonna insert a shape. Okay, so I'm gonna shrink it. So basically I'll be cutting something just a bit smaller than 1 inch, and that'll be my test shape that I'll be cutting. And then I'm gonna go to make it. I'm gonna place it here so that I know where to put my material. I'm gonna put my material at 1, 1 here. So that's where I'll be cutting. Continue. Okay, so this is a brand new material that we're gonna work with, and since we can't use any existing one, and we're just gonna assume that there's none of the existing preset that will work on the material. So we're gonna hit browse material, and then we're gonna scroll all the way down. You see the material setting here, click on that, and then scroll down to the very bottom. See the button, add new material. So we're gonna add, just give it a name. Okay, now it's added to the list. Notice that your default is at 175. That's the pressure, and we know that the this one is gonna be harder to cut than the regular full letter, which is set at 200 something. So basically you're gonna need to have a starting point and make a guess on what to cut with. So I'm gonna guess using fine point blade, 1 pass at 300 pressure. So let's check this. If you need more passes, you can change that, but when we try to cut something and it looks like it doesn't need more than 1 pass, I would definitely recommend that to keep it in 1 pass, because when you cut multiple passes, you have higher chance of having the material get lifted from the mat and may ruin your cuts. So try to keep into 1 cut. Okay, save. And the list, the order is by the pressure. So since we set it at 300, you can just go to where that is if you don't want to do the search. See right here. So let's say that the cut didn't come out right, you can always come back here and change your settings. Okay, so now let's go back. I'm gonna browse material. I'm gonna search, and if I click the star to set it as favorite, the list, it will be added to the quick material settings. So when I go to select, it's right here. So this is what we are working on. That's it. Now we're gonna go to the next view. Okay, so I cut out a 1-inch strip for test cut, and when you put it onto the mat, you should put this side onto the mat instead of this side. This is the felt, so it doesn't hold as well. This one is a smooth side, so it will stay on the mat better without moving while it's being cut. Okay. And then use a roller just to hold it down. Okay, we're gonna go to the machine view now. I'm gonna load the mat, and we are cutting with the fine point blade. See the cut. Well, as you can see, the setting did not cut through. You can kind of slightly see the shape of it. So the test fell and we need to add more pressure. Okay, so we want to change the setting of the material. You want to go back here and then click browse materials, material settings, and scroll down to the bottom. Actually, we're not adding another one, just scroll to where the setting is that we had. Is that 300, this one? Edit. And this time we're gonna try to 350. The maximum allow for the fine point blade, and see how it cuts. Save. And we're gonna select this material again. So we're gonna cut the exact same thing, so we don't need to actually restart anything. Okay, we're gonna go back to the other screen. I'm not actually cutting over the existing one, I cut it off. Okay, this is a new cut. Had 350 pressure. Let's see how it turns out. So this one did not cut through either. Since we already used 350 pressure, and that's the maximum for fine point blade, and one pass does not cut through, we're gonna have to go to 2 passes. So we're gonna go back to the setting now. Okay, we're gonna go back and change the setting again.
Okay.
Browse settings. Go to, since we changed to 350, so it will appear on the list as 350. And you cannot change the order, this is automatic. So it's always ordered by the pressure. Go edit. And since we already at maximum pressure for fine point blade and it did not cut through, we're gonna go to 2 passes. And it's most likely that it won't need the full max pressure. I'm gonna go and try at 250. This is just my guess, and let's see how it turns out. Save. We're selecting the same material again. Okay, now we go to the cut screen again. Okay, this one is gonna be cutting twice, 2 passes, and at 250 pressure. Let's see how it turns out. It's almost there. So now I'm gonna guess that we can bump it to 300 pressure and 2 passes. So we go back to the other screen now. Again, we're gonna click here to select material, go to browse material settings, and remember we changed it to 250 pressure, so it should be here, 250. Edit. I'm gonna bump it to 300. Save. Okay, let's try cutting again. Okay, this is the 2 passes, 300 pressure. Let's see how it turned out. So close. This is what we got. We can actually just tear it up. We just need a little bit more pressure. It's actually cut through, but it still stick to the material just a tiny bit, and you can just rip it off and it works. But I would prefer that it cut it out completely, so you don't have to do that. Now let's go back to the other screen one last time. Okay, since we almost got it with this setting, we just need to bump the setting up just a tiny bit. I'm gonna go 315. Save. Okay, let's try cutting again. This should be the last time, and it should be a successful cut. Let's go. First pass, second pass. We're done. Let's see how it turns out. Got it. See, we got the cut come out. Okay, let's go back to the other screen. So we finalized the settings for the material at 315. So we go back to material settings just to take a look at it, and we're gonna scroll to 315 right here. This is our setting. So at this point, if you still want to change the name, let's say, to something that you like, you can still change the name. I normally put an underscore right at the beginning so that I know that's my own settings and not somebody else. And with this setting, just cancel. So I'm gonna keep this setting here for as long as I'm cutting that material. That's it. Now we click finish. Let's try cutting something else. I don't need this anymore. Okay, so now I'm gonna upload my own design and give it a try at cutting. Save. This is what I'm cutting. I'm gonna ungroup. I don't need this one. This one has the break point. That's for material that's difficult to cut, where I want to keep it together better. And since this one is not necessary, and give it a different color so you can see easier. There should be lines in the middle there. Okay, let's cut that. Continue. And we're gonna select the setting that we finalized earlier. That's 2 passes at 315 psi pressure, and let's go and cut it. Okay, let's load. That's the first pass. Second pass done. Let's see how it turns out. This one, it still stick to it a little bit. I think that's because there's a fold right here. But it should be pretty easy to just peel it out if it does not cut through completely. And that is highly likely due to the material not in its best quality, because this has been used. This is a used material, repurposed material. When you're tearing it, because the cut is on this side, you should not tear it away from that. So you should tear this side, so that you have the line as your guide. So let's say if this was brand new, it would not have this kind of problem, because it's uneven right now, but it still turned out perfectly cut. Again, when you're peeling against the cut side. Do not peel the other side. Like for example, if you try to peel this way, you may actually rip a piece of it along with it as you rip it out. But if you peel it on this side, it has the cut side that becomes your guideline, so you can just peel it out and it's less likely to rip. But if you want to be safe, just use a scissor to snip it, and that will probably work better and safer if it's being stubborn. Like this one, I can just, it's actually stubborn here, so it's safer to use a scissor to snip it. Okay, let's go to the next screen. So this is the stubborn part that did not come off from just tearing. So you can just use your scissors to just snip it off. That. That's the design. the felt, you can trim it too. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how to make a 3 strands mystery braid. It's also called impossible braid or magic braid. The most common use name is mystery braid. I like to call it impossible braid because it looks impossible to be made. So just pick on either end, just pick one side. Okay, start from one side, fold it over, cross it over like that, and cross it over like that. And for this you need to keep count, so that is easier for you. Let's start over. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3. Keep in mind 3 strand, 3 times you cross it over, and follow the middle piece, the other end, just flip it, loop it through, so it looks like all tangled mess like that, but don't worry about it. Just make sure you keep this piece here, hold it, don't let it move. Now we continue again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you can just flip it like that. There, you have one complete loop. Okay, if it's 3 strand, you need 6 times that it cross over the strands to make one complete loop, and it'll turn out like this. So let's say this is all I need. Now I need to loosen on this side. Just loosen it up. There you go. So right now it is braided. It looks impossible because there's no opening, and this design is meant to go like this. Just loop it through. Okay, so let's say that I want the braid to be tighter instead of just like that. I need to first, I'm gonna undo it. The reason why you can't continue is because you need to keep the correct count. It's better to undo it and start from the beginning again. 1, 2, 3, and then flip that over, and then continue. 1, 2, 3. You completed one loop. Flip it over. See? Completed one loop. And you need to keep this end tight so that you actually have room to create more braids. Continue. 1, 2, 3. Again, follow this loop it through. Again, continue. 1, 2, 3, and flip it over to make a complete loop. Okay, now you need to loosen it on this end, make it even, spread it out. Just need to be a bit patient. This side is still a lot more tighter than this side, so again, move your thing over, loosen the tighten on this end and loosen the other end to make it even. Sometimes it's just quicker just to try to do this and just pull it and keep on smoothing it out like that so that it even out for you. Just like that. And because this material has the felt on this side, you're gonna have the problem with the fray at the edges. But we're not gonna take that into consideration right now. We're just testing to cut the material with our own custom settings. So again, this is 2 complete loops, so the braids are tighter. Basically, it's up to your preference to see what you like. And for this material, I would prefer the other one, the looser one, where the braid is not so tight. But this is good too. That's the butterfly closure impossible bracelet. That's it.